This is Hampton Dortch, the host of Wake Up and Lead, where ambitious young professionals learn to lead themselves. So this is my first week of doing a daily podcast. I am committing to do this through at least episode 200, just as an experiment to see if it's something that you all will like more. I'm going through a framework where on Sundays I do a 5-minute episode on faith, Mondays family, and then fitness, future, and then fellowship. And then on Friday I have a guest. And then on Saturday will be findings from my guest. And so today is fellowship. And when I say fellowship, I mean that can be friendship, that can be networking, spending time with other people, oftentimes other like-minded people that have similar goals to you. I think fellowship is something that is really, really important. We are often isolated in our life. And so this principle that I'm about to share is, if I could pick one thing that has impacted my life, my career in the first 4-ish years that I've been working, it honestly would be this. It's a really simple line, but it's very easy to put into practice. And here's what it is. Be interested over interesting. Be interested over interesting. Be interested over interesting. Okay. So this podcast has been really fun for me because a lot of the things that I wish that I could just say in conversations all the time are actually on here, because I know that people don't necessarily want to listen to all these things that I have to say in a conversation all the time. Now, some people do, but a lot of times people want to talk about themselves, and that's okay. I mean, I think inherently people want to be known and feel known. And here's the thing. If you can give someone the gift of feeling known by being interested in them, it's funny because you're going to end up being more interesting to them. I've told this story multiple times on this podcast, but one time my wife and I were at a gathering or a party or something, and I walked away and I said, yeah, I talked to this person and they were awesome. I really enjoyed spending time with them. She said, what was it about them? And as I started thinking, I realized, oh, wow, I actually don't even know if I know anything about them. They just asked me about me, and I ended up liking them a ton. Now, the lesson for me is, okay, well, ask more about that other person there. But the reality is that was my lesson of learning. You don't have to be like a super interesting person. You don't have to have all these crazy cool things about you. If you can seriously just be interested in other people and ask them about what gets them going in life, what makes them happy, what their hobbies are, and then ask follow-up questions, man, it goes a really long way. An easy principle here, or an easy practice, is to master the art of asking one more question. There's a lot of things that I share that I've learned from other people, but this is actually one thing that I'm sure other people talk about, but I feel like I kind of learned this one on my own. Sometimes when you ask that one more question, it's a little risky in the moment. It's like, okay, are they getting annoyed because I'm peppering them with questions, or did I go a little bit too far with that question? But more often than not, that opens up a can of worms into someone either being vulnerable about something they're struggling with, and then they talk to you about it, or they share something that they haven't really shared with other people, or they go way deeper into something that is like their hobby. And that's how connections are built. That's how trust is built. That's how people actually like you. And so when it comes to fellowship, yes, it's really important for you to be known. I want you to have people in your life that care about knowing you and hearing you. And it's really important to have those people. But the best way to find those people is to be the person that is interested over interesting. And mastering this life principle will take you much further than most other things. I will talk about this one a lot on this podcast for years to come because it's had a huge impact on my life. I'll see you tomorrow. It's time for you and me to wake up and lead.